In dreams since his childhood, he imagined 4 green fields, nothing to divide them, the country fully healed. But each time on waking, no changes had transpired. Brits held the 6 counties, Kathleen was old and tired. He strove to make it happen, put on his Irish pride, spent many winter evenings huddled by a roadside. Bombed the British bastards, but they never went away, just dug in deeper, lived another day. A nation once again, a nation once again, and Ireland long a province be, a nation once again. Raced across the border at night time, heading south, outrunning fucking Paris as they foamed at the mouth. Took a bullet in the shoulder and one in the arm, but made it back to safety without any further harm. A nation once again, a nation once again, and Ireland long a province be, a nation once again. Put a box in Harrods, almost brought the building down, brought the fight to England unsafe in their own town. He died as he was sleeping, same old dream again. Never woke to see the fields or to witness Kathleen's pain. A nation once again, a nation once again, and Ireland long a province be, a nation once again. Another battle from '98 gave eager Irish their chance to wait, remembering those that fought the throne, wore Irish green, true colors shone. A month of glory was all it was, as Irish rebels fought for the cause. Though ill-equipped, they fought so well, sent many English straight to hell. At Boolavogue, as the sun was setting, o'er the bright May meadows of Shelmalier, a rebel hand set the heather blazing, and brought the neighbors from far and near, parishioners from throughout the county. The local priest defied the bounty, led brave men against cannon and gun. Life's offered for green, brave everyone. Oh, at Boolavogue, as the sun was setting, o'er the bright May meadows of Shelmalier, a rebel hand set the heather blazing, and brought the neighbors from far and near. The rising was lost at Fenian Hill. The heavy guns overcame their will. Leaders caught alongside the priest, all were hanged by the English beast. At Boolavogue, as the sun was setting, o'er the bright May meadows of Shelmalier, a rebel hand set the heather blazing, and brought the neighbors from far and near. 1580 was the year Elizabeth sent her armies here. 6,000 men armed to the teeth, Feoch made sure their destiny meet. Baron Grey, prize English cunt, 'twas his forces that took the brunt. Met Feoch's force at Glenmalure, lost 800 under Carlow more. See the swords of Glenmile, they flash all o'er the English pale. See all the children of the gale, follow me up to Carlow. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Feoch will do what Feoch will dare. Now Fitzwilliam, have a care, follow me up to Carlow. The Irish being outnumbered, as guerrilla-less encumbered, when the English turned to run away, Feoch routed and won the day. See the swords of Glenmale, they flash all o'er the English pale. See all the children of the gale, follow me up to Carlow. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Feoch will do what Feoch will dare. Now Fitzwilliam, have a care, follow me up to Carlow. Elizabeth would have her way, eventually they did parley. Feoch sought to make his peace, but English queen sought his decease. They took his head with his own sword, the queen no better than her word. In later times she would rewrite, but history would set it right. See the swords of Glenmile, they flash all o'er the English pale. See all the children of the gale, follow me up to Carlow. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Feoch will do what Feoch will dare. Now Fitzwilliam, rest for a reason as to why Ireland he had left. The father told his teenage son how the English had been bereft. In their handling of the famine, more than 1 million Irish died, while the English stole their only food and any help denied. He told him of the rising in 1848, how the Irishmen had nothing to battle English hate, how they hung and banished anyone they thought that they had seen, some to be drawn and quartered, so they all fled Skibbereen. Oh, Father dear, the day will come when vengeance loud will call, and we will rise with Erin's boys to rally one and all. I'll be the man to lead the van beneath our flag of green, and loud and high we'll raise the cry, revenge for Skibbereen. He told him how he was hunted as a traitor to the Queen, hid within the mountains, how they remained unseen. He spoke of his son's mother, how he stumbled on the scene, evicted, thrown into the snow, died in the cold of Skibbereen. Oh, Father dear, the day will come when vengeance loud will call, and we will rise with Erin's boys to rally one and all. I'll be the man to lead the van beneath our flag of green, and loud and high we'll raise the cry, revenge for Skibbereen. They'd caught a ship, his son and he sailed for America, the only place beyond the Queen where they could both be safe. Hearing of the hardship with the English as its source, propelled the son to draw his breath, join the Fenian fighting force. Oh, Father dear, the day will come when vengeance loud will call, and we will rise with Erin's boys to rally one and all. I'll be the man to lead the van beneath our flag of green, and loud and high we'll raise the cry, revenge for Skibbereen.
Down an old country road I travelled alone, came across an old woman near the back of her home. She sang of the heroes of past times she knew, those she had seen, and she'd seen quite a few. She sang of their presence, of the men big and small. Regardless their bravery, she admired most of all. She sang of the odds that they went up against, more number and arms, yet none of them flinched. 'Twas down by the glen side I met an old woman, a plucking young nettles. She ne'er saw me coming. I listened the while to the song she was humming. successes they had against musket and cannon, retreat they forbade. How the traitors had sold them silver pieces received, pretended a loyalty, only sought to deceive. She hadn't seen me, and as I walked down the glen, had my thoughts on the heroes, those bold Fenian men. 'Twas down by the glen side I met an old woman, all plucking young nettles. She ne'er saw me coming. I listened a while to the song she was humming. Glory, oh, glory, oh, to the bold Fenian men. John was only 25 when they hung him for his crime. He was a rebel leader and a hero of his time. Wexford had been retaken, and the rebel leaders, Carlow, gave the orders, revenge on those who fought. Physically a big man, he was a favorite of the troops. He led from the front and never in a stoop. Head held high in battle cry, the yeomen ran in fear. These English shuddered at the thought whenever John was near. Glory, oh, to her brave sons who died for the cause of a long downtrodden man. Glory, oh, to Mount Leinster's own darling and pride, dauntless Kelly, the boy from Killane. Bravery shown in early days, the pride of the bold Chalmaliers. He became their talisman, a leader. Despite his early years, word passed throughout the county of the handsomest of men, John Kelly, the boy from Killane. Glory, oh, to her brave sons who died for the cause of a long downtrodden man. Glory, oh, to Mount Leinster's own darling and pride, dauntless Kelly, the boy from Killane. When he was hung, he was beheaded, his body thrown away. They kicked his head through the streets and then put it on display. Fenians throughout the nation cried in dismay. For over 100 years, the cause in disarray. But locked within their heart of hearts kept this vision of man. 6'2", he leads the charge, John Kelly, the boy from Killane. Glory, oh, to her brave sons who died for the cause of a long downtrodden man. Glory, oh, to Mount Leinster's own darling and pride, dauntless Kelly, the boy from Killane.
this fairest lady, so sweet and young was she. I didn't recognize her as she spoke to me, but she was the captain's daughter, a hated Englishman who did his best to wipe us out and tortured many in my clan. Here she was in front of me in this darkened Boston bar, telling me her troubles, being brave now from afar. She hated who her father was, she saw him as he was, and offered up her services to fight for the cause. We are the boys of Wexford who fought with heart and hand to burst in twain the galling chain and free our native land. She even offered money if I'd take her home with me. £1,000 she offered, and to fight for liberty. I refused the money, but did not refuse her hand. Though she was so beautiful, we dressed her as a man. We are the boys of Wexford who fought with heart and hand to burst in twain the galling chain and free our native land. We journeyed home together, fought by each other's side. She fought as bravely as a man and wore her Irish pride. And though a bullet took her, snuffed out her sweet young life, my heart will stay still married to this yeoman's daughter wife. We are the boys of Wexford who fought with heart and hand to burst in twain the galling chain and free our native land.
His father and brothers had already died. They'd given their lives, wore their Irish pride. His mother and sister were lost in their tears when Pat went to Wexford, gave proof to their fears. He was only 15, but had the gait of a man and the heart of a giant, wore the green when he can. On his way to the battle, he stopped by the old church, gave his final confession, should things come to the worst. At Geneva barracks that young man died, and in Passage East his body lies. Good people who live in peace and joy shed a tear for the croppy boy when he spoke to the priest, and his plans he did tell, caught the ears of a yeoman, and upon him he fell. unrelentingly now. Pat had spoken no lies. His confession was evidence that would cost him his life. At Geneva barracks that young man died, and in Passage East his body lies. Good people who live in peace and joy shed a tear for the croppy boy. They took him to prison, and they gave him no trial. They just hung him for treason, threw his corpse on the pile. Along with the others was thrown under some dirt. The English in reason felt the Irish were worth. While Wexford was won, the rebellion was lost. The voices of traitors had proven their cost. 100 years later, with their pride but no joy, Fenians remember the young croppy boy. At Geneva barracks that young man died, and in Passage East his body lies. Good people who live in peace and joy shed a tear for the croppy boy.
Oblivious to rebellion, Tom was just a boy, a minstrel boy who played the harp. He was his mother's joy. He'd take his harp upon his back and sit by river's edge. The girls that swooned around him, their love forever pledged. His father joined the ranks of green and took off to the war. But 2 weeks later his soul came back. They would see him no more. In the weeks that passed, Tom listened. His mother cried each night. She missed her love and wished him back, resenting him his fight. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him. 'Cause in the early hours one morning, Tom took his father's sword, snuck out the cottage door, and didn't say a word. When his mother noticed he was gone, she let out a cry so shrill. But by then he had joined the rebels and pounced on Vanger Hill. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him. Men gathered around to hear the strings of this new boy's melodies. He brought joy and soothed their worries, dissolved their melancholy. Without any warning, shells came raining in, bombardment with shrapnel. Tom the first to be hit. They carried the boy to cover as the shells fell like thunder. But another shell hit direct and blew his heart asunder. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp's long behind him. His wild harp's long behind him, and his wild harp's long behind him.
The captain's order given, the men lying in wait, pikes at the ready, glorious 98. Husbands and brothers, fathers and sons, waited for the warning light. Brave men, everyone. 'Twas the darkest evening, though the sky outside was clear. Stars above them lit the way as the time of war drew near. When finally the fire was lit, men throughout the land, emerging emboldened, with their pikes in their hand. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon, for the pikes must be together. At the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon. And 1,000 pikes were flashing by the rising of the moon. The gathering took place itself in a fresh-cut farmer's field. They were organized in numbers, gave names to those who'd lead. Then they were given absolution by the priest on the rock, then marched out in battalions, ready to attack. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon, for the pikes must be together. At the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon. And 1,000 pikes were flashing by the rising of the moon. By the time they reach old Wexford town, they were eager for the fight. They were fighting for their freedom, the cause they knew was right. Though the field was now deserted, in the distance was the sound. 1,000 men of Ireland descending on the town. Their gleaming pikes and the Banshee's lonely crew would send a message back to England by the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon, for the pikes must be together. At the rising of the moon. Kathleen had been walking back from the river's edge. She was carrying the clean clothes, set to dry them on the hedge. She'd found a patch of shamrock growing in moist ground, reminded her of the patron saint the trilogy he'd found. She stuck some in the open cloth on the edge of her shawl, would show it to her mother, maybe give her some and all. The yeomen in their finest red, walking the same road, spotted the young girl on her walk, decided her to go. Oh, Patty dear, and did you hear the news that's going round? The shamrock is by law forbid to grow on Irish ground. No more St. Patrick's Day we'll keep, his color can't be seen, for they're hanging men and women there for the wearing o' the green. The sergeant took the young girl's arm when he spotted the shamrock's green, dragged her so she dropped the clothes, called her names obscene. They took her before the judge, she was charged with a crime, found guilty there of treason, she would pay with her life. Oh, Patty dear, and did you hear the news that's going round? The shamrock is by law forbid to grow on Irish ground. No more St. Patrick's Day we'll keep, his color can't be seen, for they're hanging men and women there for the wearing o' the green. They dragged her to the gallows, put a rope around her neck. Men came from the village, screamed out their object, but the soldiers with their muskets kept the crowd at bay, and they hung the poor child by her neck for this greenery she paid. Oh, Patty dear, and did you hear the news that's going round? The shamrock is by law forbid to grow on Irish ground. No more St. Patrick's Day we'll keep, his color can't be seen, for they're hanging men and women there for the wearing o' the green. The English executed an unknown number of Irish men, women and children, simply for wearing green. We remember these victims each St. Patrick's Day by proudly wearing green.
Ireland or Maureen, Dahi told her of his plight as they embraced on the Boreen. But he never saw the yeoman who without a reason shot, till he saw the blood come from her mouth, in her chest she'd been caught. He carried her into the woods to save her from more harm, but by the time he laid her down, she was already gone. With tear-stained face he looked around, but the killer couldn't find peace of mind would follow. And though he killed dozens more, the peace still never came. The banner green he carried proud, for Ireland he proclaimed. I sat within a valley green, I sat there with my true love. My sad heart strove the two between the old love and the new love. The old for her, the new that made me think of Ireland dearly, while soft the wind blew down the glade and shook the golden barley. He died in Enniscorthy, though victory for green. The babe